Hey everyone, welcome to LSAT Wizard's question type explanations. This is going to be an explanation video for the pointed issue or the disagreement style questions. Now this is going to be an extension of our COVID relief LR and RC course. If you haven't already done so, check out our free videos, the core lessons. We really break down the underlying concepts and have already covered this question type as part of that program. This is just me going into more detail of the questions that we even did in lesson. This whole program has been sponsored by Ave Maria School of Law, and it really couldn't have happened without them. So I really want to give them a special thank you. We also are doing this as part of COVID relief effort in that we have a GoFundMe for Feeding America's COVID Relief Fund. We've already raised over $10,000, which is amazing. So thank you everyone who has already given. And if you at all find these videos helpful, I kindly ask you to give. So thank you in advance to those who will. Now, going into this particular question type, the point of disagreement or pointed issue or just disagreement, agreement, whatever you want to call it, we're going to get into it now. This is part of lesson one's outline, which if you haven't already found it, you can go to lsatwizard.com, go to our free content. You can go to video courses, click on free content. You could also sign up for any one of our paid programs, which does have the free plus a lot more explanations for particular questions of each type. It's all the homework explained. So go check that out. The outline is on there for free as well. And obviously check us out on our YouTube channel, which you may be on already right now. Now, specifically this pointed issue question. Now, what they're doing is always in these questions, it's always going to be when you have two people speaking. The example I'm going to be using to kind of exemplify this is the June 2007 section 2 question 7. That's what I have labeled down there. Now, if you don't have it in front of you, you can Google June 2007 LSAT. It is on LSAT's website for a free download as a PDF. So go check it out. Go do this question. Pause the video right now. Go do it and then come back as this explanation will make a lot more sense. Now, this question is going to be here on the Law Hub Prep Plus subscription here as well. The format of these questions will always have two people speaking. Now, there's a lot of questions that have two people speaking that aren't this question type, but every time you have this question type, it's two people speaking, and they're going to ask you something about an issue between them. That's why I call it the pointed issue, because it is a little bit broader. It's not always a disagreement. Sometimes they have agreement. Sometimes there's other more abstract variants, as we see a lot. Now, specifically, we know that it's that question stem besides the two people speaking because the question will ask for either the disagreement, some sort of issue, what they agree on. You got to be ready for that, or they might indicate what else they're looking for. It's going to have to be, though, the question, something about what their overlap is between the two. Now, with each question type, besides the question stem, we have these families, which are more to the broader concepts that we talked about. So I'm not going to go into that in these videos, but we do have a pre-answering and a test. Now, pre-answering is going to be what we think about while we're reading that initial stimulus, which is the two people over here. And then the test is what we should be thinking about while we are going through the different answers. Now, in a point of issue question, what you want to do is really what you do anytime there's what we call an opposition argument. It's one of the concepts we talked about as part of the lesson one course. An argument has 4 parts: source, evidence, assumption, conclusion. Now, when I say those 4 parts, not every time someone speaks do we have all 4. Sometimes you don't have one or more of those parts. Sometimes people just say a statement, but you need to be able to recognize when an opposition has those 4 parts. And more specifically, whenever the author or a second person comes in and disagrees with the first person, we have to make sure we understand which part of the argument that second person's disagreeing with. Are they disagreeing with the source, with the evidence, with the assumption, with the conclusion? There's a major difference between attacking source versus attacking evidence versus attacking assumption versus attacking conclusion. And that is a huge concept that comes up way beyond this question type, but it is the number one concept that they test on this question type. So when we do read, we want to think about what the first person's argumentation is, think about their source, evidence, assumptions, conclusion. Then we want to think about how that second person attacks that first person, which one of those is the second person attacking. Now, as we go through the answers to test them, what we want to think about is this agree, disagree, cannot say test. So we're going to look at an answer and I'm going to be like, okay, what does this first person think for answer choice A? Would they agree? Would they disagree? Or we can't say. If at any time you would have that we can't logically validly say, then it's incorrect. What we need for a disagreement question is for the first person to either agree or disagree, and then the second person reach the other side. If both people disagree with a statement, that actually would be them agreeing with the answer choice. They're in agreement with each other. So you have to be careful with that because they do try to mess around with that at times. What we need is an answer choice that one says I agree, the other one says I disagree, regardless of which order it may be. So that's the test we're going to do for the answer choice for these questions. Now, going into this one in particular, when we're reading Taylor's argument here, Taylor's conclusion is this claim, like all such mathematically precise claims, is suspect. Okay, what is this claim? The claim that 61% of information transferred during a conversation is communicated through nonverbal skills or signals. So this 61%, this research of 61% is something that is suspect. Like now, technically, as I've discussed when we've talked about structure, this is actually not part of the main conclusion. It's kind of a sub-phrasing here, but it is part of what they're concluding, especially as we transition here. The word because is our transition word that signals that this pink is our evidence supporting that. So they're saying claims of such exactitude could never be established by science. Now, as we think about Taylor's argument then, so the pink's the evidence, yellow and orange are different conclusions they're reaching. The underline is the reference of the claim that Taylor's attacking. So it's almost Taylor's opposition. And the assumption is the idea, if we talk about assumptions generally in lesson 2 a lot, if you are at all confused about assumptions, but it's the gap here between saying that if science cannot claim such exactitude, then this claim is suspect. I don't even know that would be assumptions. I actually think that might be a valid argument if we are accepting the pink. Now, when we do read Sandra's argument, we're thinking about which part of Taylor Sandra is quote unquote disagreeing with. And when Sandra says, while precision is unobtainable in many areas of life, it's commonplace in others. She's saying that precision is common. Precision is commonplace in others. And she even gets more specific here. Many scientific disciplines obtain extremely precise results. Okay, which means that we shouldn't be using it to doubt just because of their precision. So what I think Sandra's attacking is actually a couple things. One, the pink up here, that because claims of such exactitude could never be established. I think Sandra's generally saying, hey, claims of exactitude, I don't know about such exactitude because Sandra's not commenting on that precise of 61%, but she is saying, look, we can reach some level of exactitude. Okay, and that doesn't make it suspect. So I'd really say it's that assumption slash that we can't ever reach the idea that of exactitude and that makes us doubt it. So the claim is suspect. Now, the claim itself, though, I actually think we can't make a comment about Sandra because, as I said, the claim, I realize I referenced the wrong part of it. Claim is 61%. Sandra's not talking about 61. I said that earlier. What I think we can undermine is the orange, that like all such mathematically precise claims, that is really the only thing that it's directly attacking, the orange, that like all such mathematically precise claims. Sandra's saying many scientific disciplines obtain extremely precise results. And just because we have that doesn't make it suspect, which is the assumption there. So that's why I was saying that underlying premise that we can't reach some sort of precise claim, and that making it automatically a precise claim being suspect. So the correct answer here is that some sciences can yield mathematically precise results that are not inherently suspect. That is exactly the underline of Sandra, the opposite of what Taylor's saying. So Taylor was saying that, hey, if you get mathematically precise results, like all such mathematically precise claims, it's automatically suspect. So that's the suspect part. Okay. But Sandra's saying, no, they shouldn't be doubted merely because of their precision. So the underline of Sandra is where we get Sandra to agree with this. Okay. So Sandra agrees, Taylor disagrees. That is our test there. Now, if we're looking at the rest, research might reveal that 61% of information taken during a conversation is communicated through nonverbal. Taylor disagrees with this, and I wouldn't even say definitively disagrees. I want to highlight a degree. Might reveal. Taylor's saying that it's suspect. So Taylor might even still agree with this, and we need to notice that. So already we kind of have an issue, but Sandra does not comment on the 61%. There's no comment on anything about that level of precision, okay? B, it is possible to determine whether 61% is taken is during a conversation. Now, I guess I'm going to go back to A of as much as the claim is suspect. I realize that just talking about Taylor disagreeing, I think we can hold Taylor to disagreeing because claims of such exactitude could never be established. So we definitely, as soon as I see 61%, I know that it's wrong because of Sandra not commenting on that. Same thing here with B. So A, Taylor would disagree with. B, Taylor would agree with, would agree with the fact that it's, I guess, disagree in the sense that it's not possible. I'm just getting confused with the agree, disagree. But Taylor, we can hold to a position of disagreeing that it's possible. She's saying it's impossible to determine that. So, but again, Sandra just doesn't comment on 61%. So ultimately, it is irrelevant there. Now, C, the study of verbal and nonverbal communication is an area where one can expect great precision. Whether this is an area of great precision, I don't think either of them comment on. This is one of those times where I talk about a lot in my explanations. A lot of times, like in reading, I'll say, hey, if you think you have an answer, some sort of evidence in this stimulus somewhere here to back that up, send me an explanation in email. I'm happy, or put a comment on my YouTube video, and I'm happy to try and explain why it's not there. But we just don't have that information. There's really not a better explanation for me to give than this is language, the study of verbal and nonverbal being an area what we can expect, whether we can expect great precision, the expectation of it. We just don't have that information. And E says, if inherently suspect claims are usually false. So if they're usually false, if suspect claims are usually false, then the majority of claims made by scientists are false. Again, this is like a jump that I just don't see how Taylor or Sandra could be tied to that at all. I don't think either of them are mentioning that. So there's just no way to back that up. And so anyway, that's going to be the explanation to the point of disagreement and this question. If you're looking for more, go check out LSATwizard.com video courses, subscribe to one of our video courses, and we have a lot more on there. Anyway, stay tuned for more explanations to come.